Took a job looking for some men to join me.
Is it difficult?
Magnificent Seven is a 2016 Western starring Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, and Ethan Hawke. It tells the story of 7 men who are enlisted to protect a town from the corrupt and immoral industrialists who have taken over. Now, this film has an interesting story. It's actually a remake of a 1960 film of the same name that was also a remake of a Japanese film called Seven Samurai. Now, before I get deep into the review, I'd like to express that I want to try to keep this as spoiler-free as I possibly can. And I'd also like to let you know the perspective that I'm coming to this film with, as someone who loves the Western genre and grew up on it, watching films with my dad and my grandpa, such as John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, and many others. I'm coming from a place where I was immersed into the Western genre growing up. So I may have different opinions than someone who is more or less a casual fan of the Western genre. So with that stated, let's get into the positives.
I need more than a few to help us fight.
What a bunch of misfits we are.
The first positive of the film I want to give it is its use of diversity. The 1960 film is a great film on its own merit. However, one thing that I struggled with on my first viewing was keeping up with who was who, because there's absolutely no diversity. It was all white men. In this 2016 remake, the director does something very smart and makes all 7 of these men have their own character traits, their own ethnicities, and their own personalities, so they're able to shine through and be lumped into just the group of 7 men. The second positive I have for the film is how the director recreates so many classic Western images and just breathes new life into them. Images such as a cowboy riding over a sandy hill in the middle of a desert, or a saloon filled with cigar smoke and cowboys playing poker. The director uses a whole lot of silhouette shots and a lot of warm color palettes to put his own imagery on full display. The third positive of the film that I have is the use of tension building before a shootout. Unlike spaghetti westerns that were directed by someone like Sergio Leone, who used silence before a shootout to make the audience anticipate what was about to happen and when the guns were going to go off. Rather than doing that, Antoine Fuqua, I apologize if I mispronounced his name, has the characters in a conversation and then drops little hints of danger, like a gun that's right at the reach of someone who will be involved in the shootout, or letting us know that someone else is there that our characters do not know about. And in one instance, literally having the characters talk about the shootout that's about to happen in one scene. The next positive I'm going to give is the action is great, the comedy is great, and really all of the cast are great as a whole. I loved every single character in this film. It's filled with great actors, as I mentioned, Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, and many others whose names are not committed to memory right now. But they all did a tremendous job with their emotion and their comedic timing as well. Denzel Washington, as always, is at the top of his game, especially during the last confrontation of the film. He gives it everything he has, and you can feel the emotion with every sentence and action that he says. The only mixed aspect of the film that I have is the villain. Unlike a stereotypical villain, he's not physically imposing in any way that I noticed. All of his power comes from what he can buy, the men he can buy, the killers he can buy, the land he can buy, and how he's able to control this town based on buying out everybody, per se. The one negative aspect of his character, though, is sometimes he feels kind of cheesy, especially when he's given these long speeches and monologues saying, "History's going to remember me for da-da-da-da-da-da." For many audience members, it's going to come off as cheesy, but although you can feel that this actor is giving it everything he has, and towards the end, I feel like he gets a whole lot better because he's not engaged in long speeches. It's more of just being a menacing presence as a whole, and not really caring about the death and the destruction that he causes. Now, the one negative that I have is some characters are not given a full arc, or they're not given a very good background story. For instance, like Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. Their two characters have a pretty good arc that's concluded within the story. And you can tell that these characters have a history with each other, and their backstory is explored immensely. But other characters, such as Chris Pratt, I feel fall to the wayside or put on the back burner in favor of comedy elements.
They'll be murdered
By the world's greatest lover.
Which, in the movie, it's very refreshing considering that the comedy elements throughout lighten the mood and make it a fun movie. However, it's kind of a tricky juggling act between having characters be funny and characters actually have a past that you can relate to or some type of arc. But overall, I love the film. I still remember the first time I seen it. I watched it with my dad. As I mentioned, I'm in a family that is very much in tune with westerns. For fans of the western genre, I absolutely recommend that you go see it. If you're an action fan, it's a pretty good watch. And if you're somewhere in the middle, give it a chance. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think of the film and what you think of this review as a whole.
How'd we do?
I think we killed them all.
I thank you very much for watching. God bless.
I believe that bear was wearing people's clothes.
I thought you ain't coming.